All right, good morning. This is the LUMIX S9, and today we're taking it on a little adventure. Now, I got this camera recently from Lumix, and they asked me what I thought I could do with it if I brought it into the mountains for a whole day and used it as my main and only camera. So that's the plan for today. We're gonna take this thing into the Rockies, hit up a few of my favorite photo spots and a few spots I've never actually been to before, and we're gonna see exactly what we can capture with this thing. And because Lumix is part of the L-mount Alliance, I have a few different lenses from different brands that we're gonna use as well. So we'll have a few good configurations so we can actually see how the camera performs in different scenarios. Now this thing's locked full of features, so I'll give you guys a quick rundown on the S9 before we head out.
All right, so this is the LUMIX S9. It's packing a full frame 24 megapixel sensor in this tiny body. For video, it shoots up to 6K in open gate. It's got no mechanical shutter, but hey, that means it can be super quiet, which will be super handy if we happen to see any wildlife out there in the mountains. It's also got full vlog support as well as real-time LUT functionality. It's got a bunch of other features as well, but we're gonna be checking some of those out when we're out there.
Now I wanna quickly thank Lumix for sponsoring this video, and now we should probably hit the road because the Rockies are about an hour and a half away, and we gotta start driving.
And we're off. Next stop is Banff National Park. Actually, it's breakfast. I got hungry on the way, but hey, at least the restaurant had a good view. Now we're off to Banff National Park.
Okay, so we've just arrived at our first location. It's actually not quite in Banff yet. We're in Canmore, Alberta, which is a little bit east of Banff, so I kind of lied a bit. And we were stopped here because there's a really nice lookout point, just a small hike off the side of the highway. So we're gonna go hike down and check that out and see if we can get any good shots out there. Now the lighting isn't ideal right now for that specific lookout point. It's gonna be a kind of backlit mountain range, but we're gonna see if we can do something cool with it. So yeah, let's go.
All right, so this hike sucked. The whole trail was basically an ice rink, and I didn't have any spikes on my boots, so it took me an embarrassingly long time to shuffle half a kilometer into the woods. I tried going a different route, but it was covered in thorny bushes, so I opted for the ice. I did find a lens cap on the way, so that was fun. In the end, I did manage to get to the lookout point.
Okay, so I'm in a bit of a predicament with this location. It is in the summer, a lovely lake/pond, glistening, and a nice mountain range behind it. The problem is that it's the middle of winter. Didn't really think that through, so it's just a big old pit of mud and ice right now. Not very pretty, and the sun is actually currently like right above the mountain range, so it would wash out any image of the mountains that I took right now. So yeah, a bit of an oversight on my part, but I am gonna pivot, and I have a couple ideas in mind for this location. For one, the other mountain range behind me has some really nice lighting on it right now, so I'd like to try to get something with that and those trees behind me. And then I'm also gonna see if I can use the LUMIX Lab app to get a nice little self-portrait against the original mountain range, but still make it look good. Okay, we've pivoted over to the side a little bit to get a shot of that other mountain range back there. So we're gonna get that from here. I'm thinking we're gonna use those trees kind of to fill in the right side of the frame and let the weight of the mountain kind of overfill the left side of the frame. That should make a pretty even sort of feeling across the image, and it should be good for like a nice desktop wallpaper or something. We're gonna be shooting this today on, of course, the LUMIX S9, and we've got it paired right now with the LUMIX S 20-60 f3.5 to 5.6. This was actually the kit lens on my old LUMIX S5 many years ago, and it still works great, and it's a fantastic lens for just general landscape work and a lot of other just useful things. Okay, that shot actually turned out really well. I'm excited to get home and see what I can do with it in Lightroom, but I think it's gonna be great. Okay, so now we're gonna go back over there. We're gonna see if I can get that self-portrait shot with LUMIX Lab that I was hoping for. So we're gonna see if we can get a self-portrait of me on that mound with those mountains in the background without this sun messing it all up. We're gonna be using the LUMIX Lab app to take the shot. It's gonna be connected to the camera that's gonna be sitting over here while I'm standing over there. I'm gonna wanna frame up and monitor the shot, so that's where this is gonna come in handy. So we're gonna frame up this shot roughly to what I think it should be while we're over here. Then we're gonna use the LUMIX Lab app to monitor the camera, go over there and see how the shot actually looks. If it looks good, we'll take it from there. And if it doesn't, I'll come back and move the camera. Okay, so we've got the LUMIX Lab out and connected, and my phone screen is polarized, but there you go, now you can kind of see it. So we're gonna be monitoring the camera from over there, and we're gonna take the picture. So I'm gonna walk over there, see if we can get the shot, and then go from there. Oh, this is icy. Oh, that is like the slipperiest ice. I'm gonna walk over there, and I'll meet you back over there. Oh, it's icy up here too? Jeez. Okay, I like this. Okay, so I've got the phone connected to the camera. I can see my live view right now, and I am loving this framing. I do want to change it a bit, so because of that, I'm actually going to opt to shoot this in the high resolution mode on the S9, so that way we can crop while still having a ton of detail. and I don't have to go back down there across the ice rink basically to readjust the camera. So it's gonna be perfect right here. We're gonna take the photo and should look good. So let me see if I can hide my phone from it and look up at the mountains and say cheese. All right, time for me to get back down over there and then let's hit the road to get to the next location.
Okay, so now we are actually in Banff. More specifically, we're driving down Highway 1A. Now, I love going down this road because there's so many great photo opportunities. Not only are there a lot of pull-offs and lookout points, but the road itself is even photogenic.
Okay, so I just pulled over on the side of the road here because there is a really cool shot of that mountain and those trees and this lighting that I really want to get here. The sun is kind of just poking in from the side through all the trees, and it's casting a really nice light on the top of all these trees. So I want to get a bit of that, maybe on a telephoto, along with the top of that mountain. That's Castle Mountain over there. So the S9 is known for being a pretty small camera, and I have a not so small lens on it right now. It's a 16mm prime, and as much as I wanted to work for this shot, it is just too darn wide. Like, that's not gonna work. So what we gotta use is this. Okay, so now we have the massive 70-200 on the S9. It is no longer a small camera at this point, but this will be perfect for the shot. I just checked, and about 200mm is a perfect focal length for the shot I'm going for. So we're gonna use that, and we're gonna see how it turns out. So right there is the framing that I really like. I like having the tops of those trees there with the mountain there and the sky up top. I think it's a really good sort of layered vertical portrait photo, and that's what I'm going for. This is at the full 200mm, so let's give this a shot. Now what you were just looking at was zoomed in at 200mm, so that's pretty darn tight. You probably also noticed that it wasn't very shaky or jittery, and it was actually pretty stable. That's because the S9 has really good built-in in-body image stabilization, so the sensor can shift around to keep the image as stable as possible. Now let's not kid ourselves, the lens has optical image stabilization as well, but the in-body stabilization is a big part of what actually makes it steady. So something I like to do when I get a photograph I'm really happy with is I like to get a video of the same frame. Just so I have kind of like a living photograph. It's kind of just fun. Now the S9 is the perfect camera for that because it can shoot an open gate. Basically allows you to take video using the full sensor size rather than a cropped 16:9 section of the sensor like most other cameras. Now this video is actually being filmed in open gate, so you can kind of see how it works. There's a lot more room up and down than you probably thought. Now this makes it pretty easy to crop for vertical if you're shooting both for horizontal and vertical aspect ratios, but it also just gets you a bigger and better image overall, and I just really like it. Oh, and because I haven't mentioned it yet, the camera that we're shooting this video on today is actually the LUMIX S5 II. Now this camera actually shares the same sensor as the S9, so if you like the look of the footage in this video, then chances are you're gonna like the look of the footage from the S9 as well. So let's get this shot handheld at around 135mm on this lens of that mountain range in a video. Okay, I think that's gonna turn out really well. Let's go on to the next location. Okay, so now we are here at Morance Curve, and I think there's a train coming. This is like an iconic photo spot for train photos as trains come around that bend there. So I've got the S9 here paired with a Viltrox 16mm prime f1.8. We're gonna see if we can get a shot of the train coming right around that corner there, right when it arrives. I've heard its horn in the distance, so I think it's coming. Okay, these shots are great. I got some stuff I'm very happy with. And honestly, I don't think it could have gone better. The 16mm did fantastic on this landscape, and the camera did a great job capturing the dynamic range of the scene with the bright sky behind and the darker forest, as well as the train. It's gonna have a whole lot of detail. It's gonna be really awesome. All right, we gotta keep driving. All right, so I'm here at Lake Louise. I'm actually standing on the lake right now because it's frozen. We're gonna use a couple unique features from the S9 here, mostly ones that are super handy for if you just wanna share stuff quick, you want some really good stuff straight out of the camera, you don't wanna do a ton of editing. This camera really excels on that front. Now the main feature a lot of people know this camera for is the real-time LUT feature, and that's kind of what we're talking about here. This little button essentially allows you to apply any variety of custom LUTs that you can get from the LUMIX Lab app to your photos essentially giving them a baked-in color grade while you're taking the shot. Now, this only applies the grade to the JPEGs that come out. So if you're shooting both JPEG and RAW at the same time, you'll get the original RAW to work with later when you're at your computer and can do some editing, but you'll also have a fully graded JPEG ready to be shared right away, straight off the camera. It's really handy if you want to share stuff, but you don't have the time to edit every day. So let's set a LUT that looks nice here, and let's take a couple shots. Okay, so we're just gonna press the LUT button, and then we got no LUT, and let's cycle through. We got some sample LUTs, some other ones, and let's go, ooh, blue sky. I think this one's gonna work. Yeah, I like the way it kind of chills everything and makes it look nice and cool, which is really fitting for this area. I got this blue sky LUT off the LUMIX Lab app, and it's really gonna work for this area. It kind of makes everything look really cool and icy, which really works for a glacier in a lake in winter. So yeah, let's use this. So now we just hit set, and we're good to go, ready to shoot. So now we have that shot that's already graded essentially and looks nice and frigid, which is kind of what I was going for with the shots here. I can take that photo right off the camera onto my phone wirelessly through the LUMIX Lab app and share it right away. Now, another feature that this camera has that's really handy for JPEGs and quick shooting is the hybrid zoom feature. Now, this can essentially turn a regular zoom lens into a telephoto lens. I have this 20 to 60 here again, and I want to get a shot of that mountain peak right up there with it, but 60 mils ain't gonna cut it for that. So I've turned on the hybrid zoom mode. You just go into the menu, go to hybrid zoom, turn it on, and it will linearly crop the image according to the zoom in the camera so that you can essentially turn this 60 mil into a 187 mil. Okay, so let's see. We are all the way out at 20 right now. And as we start zooming in, right now we're at 60 on the lens, but in reality, we're at 187 on the screen. So we can take a shot here, and now we've got a telephoto shot of the mountaintop that we don't have to crop and post. It's a non-destructive method for the RAWs, so it's totally safe, and you can go in and crop and adjust that later if you want, but it's super handy if you need that telephoto shot, but you just can't quite get it, and you prefer to do everything in camera. Okay, well, the sun has set and it is getting a whole lot colder, so I think our day in the mountains with the S9 is officially over. And now it's time to do the long drive back to town and see what we got. All right, we're back home. It's actually been a few days since that last shot was taken, and in that time I've had the chance to edit and look over a lot of the photos we took that day. Overall, I'm super happy with them. Especially with all that inconsistent lighting we had that day, we were really able to pull together some really good images. I think my favorite photo of the day is actually the first one of the day that we took in Canmore. I really like it because the lighting was perfect for it, and it's a different view from a really popular lookout point that not a lot of people pay attention to. But all in, the S9 did a really good job. This thing is really powerful, and it's probably gonna be my new travel camera, especially because of the smaller form factor. I've actually been out since our day in the mountains and got a few more photos with it, and they've turned out really well. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed our little adventure and that you were able to see some of the cool stuff this camera can do. I wanna thank you for watching all the other regular YouTuber stuff. Subscribe, like, comment. If you have any questions about this camera, you can ask them in the comments down below. If you want a closer look at some of the photos we took on the trip, I'll actually put the original RAWs down in the description in a Google Drive folder so you can download them and check them out and see if you can edit them yourself. So anyways, thank you to LUMIX for sponsoring this video again, and thanks for watching. Take care.